Hi, this is Wishop, and this is your weekly reading for Monday, May 11th through Sunday, May 17th. So a lot of times I start with the astrology, and I think it's kind of important this week. The big stuff going on is Mars is moving out of Taurus into somewhat scattered Gemini, where its intense to do, get stuff done energy is going to feel like it's going 50 directions at once. And that can create annoyance or indecision or irritation. So that's worth noting. The moon is going to move through Pisces, as well as the other signs of the week. But also Venus in Cancer will make a nice aspect to Neptune in Pisces later in the week. But that's going to be very watery energy. So Venus in Cancer is about loving and nurturing. Neptune in Pisces has all that deep, intuitive kind of knowing. So while that's going to be a great time to be nurturing and to nurture yourself, it's not going to be a time where you're going to be able to get a handle on all those fireflies of thought, because things are going to be slippery. Things are going to be tough to pin down. Leaving the concreteness of Taurus kind of creates that. So try not to get frustrated. And we're going into a Mercury retrograde next week on the 18th. And people talk a lot about the problems of Mercury retrograde, difficulties in communication and electronic problems and travel issues and all that stuff. And Mercury goes retrograde for 3 weeks at a time. But the issue is, it does bring to mind how important it is, everything Mercury does for us all the time, that it's really out there working hard a lot of the time. And when Mercury goes retrograde, it is an opportunity like every other retrograde to review, to evaluate. Chances are over the spring and the amazing changes of last fall and winter, you've put some things in place, started to put some plans in motion, even at this early stage. Mercury's retrograde is saying, let's look at that. Let's look at that. And let's look at the choices. You know, Gemini being the twins, I think it's always worth looking at the polarities of the choices you're making, of you're either this or that. You may have gone through some very big choices of either this or that, with regards to releasing and letting go with all the Pluto-Uranus action going on. So if you've been releasing and letting go a bunch of stuff, and now you really feel that you're ready to move forward, there still may be some cleanup on aisle 3 regarding your emotional state. And that doesn't mean you can't move forward. Mercury retrograde doesn't mean everything stops, and it doesn't mean you can't get great things done, and it doesn't mean that you can't achieve wonderful things, especially when it comes to cleaning up old business. So it may be that you're called to do that. But let's look at the Ching for the week. And I'm not particularly shocked to have found, after I rolled the dice, I got this card, which is 6, conflict. Let me show you here. This is heaven, if you can see, over water. So you have the power of heaven versus the power of water. So it's a very kind of forces arrayed against each other, and they're contending with each other. Now, this conflict can lead to creative breakthroughs. It really can. But it can also feel, as you see at the bottom of the card, hostility, jealousy, stubbornness, aggression, fear, competitiveness, and controversy. So that's what you're trying to avoid. You want your conflicts to be creative. So if you get into it with somebody, make sure you have an end game in mind. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to communicate something that really needs to be aired? You know, clear the air about something? Are you trying to come to a decision on something? If you are, this conflict can take you someplace very good, very necessary, and then you put it behind you and you keep moving forward. But this conflict can turn into a stalemate, especially when you're not sure concretely what you hope to get out of it. If what you're really doing is venting your feelings, you've got all that water energy and you want to vent your feelings, maybe that's an important thing to do this week, but it is not going to put the conflict to rest. So just be prepared for that. It might be a little challenging. So just kind of, I don't know, have your have your safety belt on, so to speak, your emotional safety belt. So let's see what the random tarot cards are for the week. This is the Hoi Polloi deck. Okay, 10 of Wands, hello. All right, there's not so much of a shock there. And Knight of Pentacles, upside down. Oh, the Chariot, also in reverse. Okay, so if I look at this all together, which is how I like to do it, the 10 of Wands says to me, you have a lot to do this week, and that's not really a surprise. We talked about that energy in all different directions. This is such a busy time of year. I mean, I was outside just in a wooded area that I've been to in the fall and the winter, and I've never seen it so busy. I felt like the bugs and the birds and the plants all had stuff to do, and I was actually getting in the way of everything that they were trying to get done. It was absolutely alive, just flooded with activity. So if you have this 10 of Wands feeling, you may feel overwhelmed with new tasks, with responsibilities, with new things. Many of these you probably put on your own to-do list. So let's be honest about that. Mars and Gemini can make you do that kind of thing. So you can handle what you've got, but you may need to be discriminating about it. And see, we've got this Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Now, the Knight of Pentacles is known for being a very solid and plodding character. Okay, and you can see he's looking at one pentacle. That's really where his attention is. He's stopped, he's contemplating, he's thinking on this one concrete goal. That is very much not what is happening here. And then we have the Chariot. The Chariot, which often can be seen as a card of great victory, great triumph. And in this case, it's in reverse, so that the part of what the Chariot represents is the ability to harness diverging forces, represented by the light and dark Sphinx here. And also this is harnessing body and mind. This is, spirit and soul. This is male and female. These are lots of competing forces, and the Chariot puts them all together in a way that makes sense and that moves forward with divine purpose. So what I'm seeing is, with the Knight of Pentacles in reverse and the Chariot in reverse, it's sort of saying, right now there's too much for you to move forward in an organized way. You can't even see where you're going. There's just too much. And the Knight of Pentacles, which would concentrate on one thing, and the Chariot, which would have very clear direction, those things are not happening this week because the spring, the growth of spring, has made us all a little bit giddy. So you see one flower over here and you think, oh, I'll take that. And then you see another one over there, oh, I'll take that. So you may have a lot of different things going all at the same time, and you're telling yourself somehow it's all going to happen, but it probably can't all happen. So some of the conflict that we're talking about with this week, conflict and Mars and Gemini may be making hard choices with yourself, deciding, okay, what am I really going to do? What am I really choosing? This or that. What is really serving my goals and my dreams, so that you don't get just carried away with the busyness of the season and then find that you've sort of scattered your efforts so many different places that you didn't proceed in anything that you really cared about. Progress is made in small bits, but small regular bits, regular activities activities. So if you're not able to really devote yourself to something you care about on a semi-regular basis during the spring, because you've just got too much to do and everything's too exciting, if that priority really matters to you, you may want to really think about continuing to consolidate. I know it's like, but I just did all this spring cleaning so that I could afford to take on new things. But have you taken on too many? And if you do take on too many, does that represent a reversion to patterns of your past? Or are you moving forward and being really discerning about what you're involved in? So I chose one oracle card from the Art Through the Eyes of the Soul Oracle by Cheryl Yambrack Rose. And here it is, and I'm going to flip it. Oh, here we go. It's Oceana's Prayer. Rebirth the earth. Start anew. Begin again. So I wouldn't be disheartened by this, but it seems to be saying whatever you've just begun, if you've begun it, even if it's a wonderful idea and it's your heart's desire, it's something you're very excited about, if you've begun it and already it seems to be, getting tentacles that are out of your control and seems to be demanding too much and you can't figure out how you're going to do it, it's still okay to go back to the start. Go back to the start. Make sure every one of these wands is something you absolutely want. Make sure that it's worth carrying. And then you can see here she's got this beautiful watery energy. So this is actually, you can get a lot of benefit from Venus in Cancer here, or Neptune in Pisces, to really look very deep within and think, okay, I have all the time in the world. What do I want to do with it? Don't be pushed by all the busyness and the crazy forward-moving energy. What am I doing? Am I really doing what I care about? I think that's going to be extremely challenging. I mean, it's only Monday, and already I've been challenged in this way, but I can definitely feel the focus for me is going to need to be on just reel it back. Don't get too crazy. Just, make sure the stuff you're doing is the stuff you really want to be doing and that you really value. And because it's Oceana's Prayer, which has to do with rebirthing the earth, you may, of course, always think about consulting with nature, consulting with the water, if you love to go visit the water. But however it is you like to approach nature, and just get yourself grounded and really start at the beginning again. There's nothing wrong with that. So I hope that's been helpful, and I hope that you have a great week. I hope that what happens over the course of the week is that you turn the chariot right side up and you feel like you've got everything harnessed, so that instead of feeling overwhelmed and out of control, you feel very much in the driver's seat of your life and your goals. And I certainly think that's possible. So have a great one and rock on with your bad selves. Bye.